Hello and welcome to the Literary Bar. How are you doing? I feel great after the Lagos Access Bank Marathon. It was the 10th anniversary of the marathon. Sadly, we also marked the first anniversary of the tragic passing of Herbert Wigwe, his wife and his son. I run this marathon to raise awareness and support for Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, SAMI. I participated in the 42-kilometer race and I have my medal to prove it. Full marathon. But I'm giving a big shout out to my SAMI family, my marathon partner Adam Salahuddin, who saved my life twice during this last race. Thank you, Adams. SAMI is hoping to raise 10 million naira for the health insurance of sickle cell warriors. My guest today has a passion for promoting good health in his personal and professional life. He's also a big supporter of SAMI. Last year, he raised about £3,000 for the charity by running 10-kilometer race during the 2024 marathon. He is simply amazing, and on behalf of SAMI, I will present his award at the end of this show. So grab a cup of tea and let's learn how to live better. Welcome back. March the 4th is the World Obesity Day. This is a day set aside by WHO to encourage practical solutions to help achieve and maintain a healthy weight. Obesity has nearly tripled since 1975 amongst adults and children. In Africa, the weight of a man used to signify his wealth. The heavier you are, the wealthier you appear. But in more recent times, that view has changed. Fat and obese people are now body-shamed, considered lazy, and even stupid. The stigma of obesity has led people down the path of depression, suicide, surgery, exercise, and recently the use and abuse of drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, etc., to the detriment of diabetic patients. United Nations is urging government to tackle the policies and systemic failures that contribute to the epidemic of obesity. This special episode on healthy living is inspired by two articles written by Pharmacist Sokoya on weight loss management and on the benefits of vitamin D. Pharmacist Babatunde Sokoya owns and operates My Easter Pharmacy in the UK. He's actively involved in promoting good health in the community and right here in Nigeria. Tunde Sokoya is a healthy lifestyle advocate, and he believes that the quality of our health is determined by our gut and exercise or lack of it. He literally walks the talk, as he loves to exercise outdoors and run marathon for good causes. Tunde, or T-Shocks as his friend call him, also loves to dance. And after the break, we'll get right into it with Tunde. Hi, Tunde.
Hello, Chinedum. How are you doing?
I'm well. Welcome to the Literary Bar.
Great to be here. Really, really great to have an opportunity to come on your show.
Thank you. And I know you're here for the reunion of your secondary school, Abusi
Edumare Academy in the Jorugbo, yes.
Okay, you guys are celebrating
44 years since we graduated.
44 years?
44 years.
Wow, Tunde, you look well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're really walking the talk.
Well, I do try, yes, we do try.
So we give a shout out to all the people in Abusi.
Yes, all the people in
Edumare.
Abusi Edumare Academy.
Okay, even the way you call it, like Papa Jebu son. Wow. So Tunde, we're talking about the World Obesity Day. You know, I didn't even realize that there was something that drastic in setting out a day to celebrate or to recognize the impact of obesity on people. And you talk a lot about weight management.
Yes.
And you have specific things on how people should do. You say a lot of things happen in the gut. Our health is determined by our gut.
That's right.
And that's what we ingest and all that.
That's correct.
But before we go into all of that, what is obesity exactly?
Well, obesity basically is, there's various ways we look at it. One of the key ways which a lot of people might have come across is the body mass index, the BMI, which is just a gauge really, but it does give us some indication of what our ideal weight should be. And so depending on your muscular stature, sometimes it might be overestimated. But as a gauge, it is a fairly good indicator of whether you're overweight or underweight. It's been said that obesity is the new smoking. And so that is quite serious. So we really, really need to start looking at ways how we can help people to make sure that they stay at a good weight. Because obviously the more weight you put on, the greater you increase your risks of things like diabetes, heart attack and strokes. So therefore, it's so important to recognize this. Yeah.
Okay, in Africa, like I mentioned earlier, at least I'm a Nigerian, so I'll say in Nigeria, the heavier you are, we have places called fattening room. So if you're skinny, then you are poor. If your family is skinny, then the man is not doing his work. Is it not a cultural thing to be of a particular weight to signify your status?
Yes, I understand that, and I can remember back in the day when I was in secondary school, they talked about sending the Calabar women to the fattening rooms before they got married. Well, I think as we've become wiser and more knowledge has become available, I think people are starting to realize that there are risks linked to being overweight. So really, we just need, I think it's a mindset thing, and we do really need to get people to change their mindset, because I can't remember what the average age is in Nigeria of the man. I think it's somewhere in the 50s. Life expectancy. It's somewhere in the 50s. And, for people to be dying at that age, it's no age. It really is no age. And when we look at the number one cause, we're looking at things like diabetes and hypertension, which again are closely linked to weight. Not totally linked, but, the greater you are sort of weight-wise, then the more risk you're going to have of hypertension and diabetes. And hypertension is, around the world actually, one of the number one killers.
A silent killer, they call it.
That's right, yes.
But when we look at obesity and we look at children, a fat baby is always a cuter baby.
Yes.
And if you don't have a fat baby, people think you're not doing your work as a mom.
Yes.
But it becomes dangerous when a fat baby becomes an obese child.
That's right. That's correct, yeah.
Then again, when we look at our diet, they say poorer people are prone to being overweight.
That's right.
Because processed food is cheaper.
That's right.
And more available to the poorer person. In countries like America, poorer people are bigger than the rich people. Yeah. Why is that?
Well, as you've stated quite clearly, a lot of the processed food is a lot cheaper. Although, portion size is also an issue, but I would say yes, processed food is cheaper, and so that's more readily available. And so, that is one of the things why people will then just eat probably too much of it. There's also the side of it, which maybe we'll talk about that later on, which is to do with when people have soda drinks with their food, you're more likely to want to eat more.
Yeah.
Because it blunts out the hormone that tells your brain that I'm full up. So when you have free sodas and they say, free refills, I think people need to think again about that, because that is really something that blunts out the effect of the natural hormone that tells you you're full up.
So that brings me to sugar,
Yes.
honey, sweetness.
Yes.
Which is better?
Well, to be honest with you, none of them. None of them. When we look at health, we need to really get rid of a lot of the white stuff. So white stuff meaning white rice, bread, and sugar.
You want to kill me with that?
Well, as much as possible, we know that sugar naturally can cause inflammation in the body. And the root cause of a lot of illnesses are inflammation. So automatically, if you're, high, if you take in a lot of sugar, you are predisposing yourself to a multitude of autoimmune conditions, and in particular, again, overweight. Sugar
and
is linked. Honey is I suppose I would say honey in small quantities, but anything in moderation. Honey is probably a little bit better than white sugar.
And the sweetness, because now you have all of them everywhere.
Well, to be honest with you, again, I would suggest that we steer clear of them, because again, there are links to some of these sweeteners, linking them to potentially causing cancers in some people. So really, I would, steer clear where we can, because all of these things, sweeteners, sugar, they're an acquired taste. If you stop them for about 30 days, you won't be craving them as much.
To me, this is getting really scary because, one, if we cut out white bread,
yes,
all the white stuff, that's where the good stuff is. That's the ones that are sweeter. Bread, rice, that's all my diets, entirely, my entire diet.
Well, we were talking about obesity, and,
yes.
and we run a program, and one of the things we always say is, and where we see the most benefits, we see, sustained weight loss, is where we get people to cut out the white stuff. So, as I said, white bread, white rice, and sugar. When we cut that out, they will lose double what they would lose using any other program.
So what would you eat in place of that?
Well, beans, lentils, your fruit, your vegetables. Or if you are going to eat bread at all, it's eating the sourdough bread.
What's that?
Sourdough bread is
You're
basically...
Nigeria. You're in Nigeria, please.
Yes, I know. I don't know, to be honest with you, what the equivalent is, but basically...
Sourdough, that can be a gigi.
I don't know. I think I have to check it out myself, because it is basically what it is. The bread that we normally eat contains a protein which our gut finds very hard to break down. But the sourdough bread, it's processed differently, so that protein is actually broken down, so the gut doesn't have to handle it. What's the best food for the gut? The best food for the gut? Oh, that's a good question.
The gut being our stomach, right?
Yeah.
The digestion, everything.
The shorter your food travels, so if you grow it in your back garden and then you put it on your plate, that's going to be much, much healthier. Okay, non-processed foods. Non-processed food, yeah. But in a world where everybody is in a hurry to get somewhere, you don't even know how you're going to keep something. People want to buy stuff as much as they can to preserve it. Keep noodles now, without naming any particular brand, seems to be the easiest food. People, you come into our home, they're eating noodles morning, afternoon, and night. What will be the alternative to things like that? Because noodles, the journey is far before it gets to our table. Yes. Well, again, it goes back to how much attention people want to pay to their health. First and foremost, we're talking about, really, we shouldn't be eating more than 2 meals a day. We're talking about obesity, and we've always been told, 3 meals. Well, actually, in reality, we do not need to be eating more than 2 meals a day. Now, when we look at obesity, one of the things that is a big factor is high sugar levels. And by having only 2 meals a day, you reduce that likelihood of elevated sugar levels, which again is a precursor for putting on more weight and predisposing you to diabetes. Under the world, for the World Obesity Day, they also incorporate being overweight, and a lot of us really are overweight. If we go by this BMI stuff, we're all practically obese. But again, I recognize that there are people who are much bigger and whatever. But I want to say something towards obesity now that everybody's talking about body positivity, be yourself and be however you are. It doesn't matter, it's your soul, that whatever. It's almost as if there is a sort of a fat acceptance. If you say any other thing, if you want to correct someone about that, you'll say you're fat shaming them. So how do we even balance that? Well, I think you're right. I think it's important to acknowledge that, some people, I've seen some people that you might say are fat, but they're quite healthy. And so, they're quite healthy. They may be vegetarian. Okay. I think, the body is so complex. The body is really complex, and there's no one size fits all. I just think we should all be aiming to maximize each other's body, whichever we go down, and it's just about making those healthy lifestyle choices. Okay. Moving on, I just want to bring up the fact that, since you're a pharmacist, and then you're the right person to ask these questions. When it comes to weight management now, or weight loss management, a lot of people
have tried all sorts of diets and it's not working, and then enter drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Wegovy. What really is that?
Well, if to be honest with you, I mean, they have been very successful in the United States, and they are very successful drugs. But like any drugs, they will come with side effects. We run a program where people actually pay to have an initial consultation, where we go through the side effects, the benefits, the risks, and there are risks. They're drugs, so there are risks associated. Minimal risks, but again, when we are prescribing or putting people on medication, we're constantly weighing up the risk versus the benefits. Now, I've had people that have gone on these products and they've come back and lost 20 kilograms. Now, when you look at how much that reduces their risk of a heart attack and stroke, you know, it's a no-brainer. But then we have the flip side where we have people who just want to take it because they feel that they want to be slimmer.
They want to be skinny.
They want to be skinny, and, you know, there's never enough. You know, they keep taking it and taking it. So that's why there's been new laws in the UK, for example, where people can no longer just get it online. They were getting online, they didn't have to see them, but now it's been stipulated that they must have a consultation, whether it's online or face-to-face, before they're allowed to go on this weight loss.
I hear it's actually for diabetic patients?
It was originally for diabetic patients. They've been using it 18 to 20 years for diabetic patients and found that a lot of them were losing weight. And so that's how this all came about. And as I said, they are very effective. They are very effective. We don't know what the long-term data is in respect of weight loss. We can use it for diabetes, but weight loss, we're still sort of looking at the data, the long-term data. But they are effective, so you can't take that away from them. They are effective. They work for people, but not in isolation. They do not work. They're not a magic pill. You have to still make the lifestyle changes. You have to do your exercise to maintain the weight loss. You have to eat healthily. So, you know, it's not, you know, weight loss is quite complex. You've got environmental factors, you've got mental factors, and you've got the physical factors. So it's not really anything you can just say, I'm going to inject this drug and that's it, I'm going to lose the weight. It doesn't work like that.
There are some that are morbidly obese, and then there are some that are just obese, and then people are just overweight.
That's right.
So for the ones that are morbidly obese, how would this work for them? Because from what we see, some people can't even move.
Yes.
They can't even get up from their bed.
So those people are the type that would benefit greatly from this. But again, it's got to be with a structured program. And this is where I think I have a struggle, because at the moment we offer it as a private service, and in the UK the NHS are looking to offer it to people where they don't have to pay for it. So my question is, what will be the motivation? You know, when you're paying for something, you're more likely to subscribe to it, you're more likely to be engaged with it. But when you're getting it for free, are you going to be as motivated? So I think, you know, that's a question I have, which I still haven't answered. I can't see how somebody that's getting it for free will be as motivated as somebody that's actually...
So it's expensive?
Yes. So people pay £100 for the initial consultation, and then £250 a month, which includes injection.
Just to lose weight?
Just to lose weight, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, here in Nigeria, where a lot of people are hungry, and they can't afford this medication, but they are still obese because of the availability of carbs mostly.
Yeah.
What will be the alternative?
I think, again, as I said, the injections are not a magic pill. I think it's going back to trying to figure out, there's certain foods that make people put on weight, making sure you're doing your regular exercise. And I think it is just, just looking at what alternatives you have around you. I would also recommend people think about time-restricted eating. Again, there's a lot of evidence that shows that really helps people with weight loss. So, and you know, having 2 meals a day, I think...
You can have great. 2 meals a day that is heavier than 3 meals a day. I hope you know.
Yes, you can do, but I think after a limited time, you might find that actually you don't want as much food as you would have had.
Yeah.
And 2 meals a day versus 3 meals a day. The evidence says there is really no need for 3 meals a day, really.
And the time. Anyway, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the drinks, because that's everywhere. Join us after the break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about health, because this year we said that 2025 is a year to thrive. And what are you without your health? Health is wealth. Health is everything. And so I'm so happy that I have with us here Pharmacist Babatunde Sokoya, who is talking to us about our lifestyle and our health, how it impacts our health. Though he's a pharmacist, he does not always subscribe to just drugging people. He believes that a lifestyle change is more important. So Tunde, thank you for staying.
No problem.
Yes. So before we went on break, it's all the health, what people should eat and what people should not eat. But there's something that is more available to people than food. That is the drinks.
Yeah.
We drink and drink and drink. Everybody is putting some concoction together, and I don't know about government regulation, which is why WHO is talking about policies. There has to be strong policies in safeguarding people's weight. The heavier we are, all the sicknesses you mentioned, diabetes, high blood pressure, some cancers, and all of that, the more, if government really walks the talk, we will not have it this bad. But the drinks are everywhere. What's your take on that?
Again, I go back to individuals. It's about education. It's about individuals taking ownership. Yes, you cannot rely on the government to guide you in some things, because sometimes they get it right. They get it wrong. I won't go into the COVID side, but there's a lot of things that government's got wrong about COVID. Yeah. So when we look at obesity, I go back to just saying that, it's about educating people so that they can make better choices. The fizzy drinks, yes, we've all had them.
We're still having them.
As a kid, I try to steer away from them now because, now that I understand that obviously the whole point of a fizzy drink is to make you eat more. And the thing people don't understand is that just even if you did exactly the same thing, ate the same food, did the same exercise, naturally you will put on weight as we get older.
Yeah.
So really we need to reduce the amount we consume. And then fizzy drinks, I would say really we need to ban them, really. I know it's a bit drastic, but...
That's a whole industry. But there's this analogy that you can't sell cigarette to children because it's poison, it's dangerous. So how come it's so easy for us to just sell those drinks to children? You go to some schools are taking the bull by the horns. They tell parents no fizzy drinks in the lunch bag. But a lot of schools, they don't mind. Children come to school with soda, and it's regular. You're seeing a 2-year-old, the mother will say, "Oh, you like these soda drinks," and they open it and give the child. So if we can't sell cigarette to children, why is it okay to sell soda to kids?
It's just the way it's been packaged. It's the way it's been packaged. And I keep saying it, I keep going back to it. It is about raising awareness. It's about educating people. Because, if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know the dangers, the perils of having sugary drinks for your children, there's the issue with the teeth. There's, again, planting those seeds of obesity later on in life. So, you do not want your children to grow up and be diabetic, So I would say, there's not really much, the marketing is
amazing.
really...
Yes. I think growing up, we could all sing the songs, the commercials that you play. But another thing that we'll talk about obesity all day, and because we all want to learn. But you talk about the benefits of vitamin D, and I know that we get a lot of it from the sun. And when people go out and exercise more, they get that.
Yes.
An obese person and an overweight person needs stronger bones.
Yes.
So could you tell us more about the benefits of vitamin D and how you can link it up with obesity?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you raised that because it's a really key issue. Again, what the study shows that when you're obese, you actually need higher doses of vitamin D. Because
even in Africa, where it's so sunny.
Even in Africa, yeah, even in Africa. Well, I've actually done blood tests for people in Africa, who some colleagues who are hypertensive. I didn't expect them to have low vitamin D because I thought, you're in Nigeria, you're in a hot country, but they still came back with low vitamin D levels. And that's because they moved from an air-conditioned office into an air-conditioned car, into an air-conditioned house. So they're not actually getting exposure to the sun. Now, I would go as far as to say that if you're going to take one vitamin at all, vitamin D is that vitamin.
Really? Not vitamin C, that's the one that gets all the good press, vitamin C. It does,
but vitamin D, it's obviously, as you rightly said, it's from the sun. And the reason why I think it's so important, when we looked at COVID, when we did a lot of reviewing of what happened with COVID, there was a link between the people who got COVID, most of them had low vitamin D. And there were studies done across the world where they were taking vitamin D levels before you were admitted for COVID, and they then followed you to see how you fared. And those who had low vitamin D were more likely to die or end up in intensive care. But if you had the right levels of vitamin D, you might spend 2 days on the ward and go home. So you can see there's a strong link. And that's why, again, in the UK, the people that got COVID first were black and Asian, because our skin stops us from getting the little sun available in the UK.
Oh, the melanin.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, it was built as a barrier in Africa, but obviously it goes against us in the UK, where we don't get enough sun. And so that's why you see a lot of people, for example, I could go on about vitamin D, but we've had links to menopausal symptoms. We've had patients come in who thought they were menopausal. We've put them on vitamin D, and they've come back 3 weeks later. Most of the symptoms have gone.
Okay.
A lot of studies have shown, name it, whether it's flu, COVID, pneumonia, any respiratory illness, you're more at risk if you're low in vitamin D. Vaccinations.
Okay.
If you have any vaccinations for anything, your response to that vaccine, again, is not the same as somebody who's got vitamin D levels topped up. So you can see that when you're low in vitamin D, it's like you're fighting, whether it's infections or other things, with one hand behind your back.
Oh, wow.
Because you are low in vitamin D. And unfortunately, what happens is we're still using the dose from years ago for preventing rickets, which was 400 units a day. Now, the dose required for immune function starts, if you're fair-skinned, at about 2,000 units and goes up to 5,000 units. Now, we've even got cases where people are taking 25,000 units a day, where they had psoriasis, and it actually got rid of their psoriasis.
Wow.
The study also showed that if you're in the sun for 3 hours before 12 o'clock, you got 25,000 units of vitamin D.
And that's good enough?
That's good enough.
Okay. People like me, we pass.
Yes. Well, if you're in the sun for 3 hours before 12 o'clock.
Yes, that's when I do my exercise.
You're getting exposure to the sun. Because obviously, if you're covered up,
that's
and again, this is the problem we found in a lot of women that wear hijabs and stuff.
Okay. They're
covered up, and so again, it's blocking them from getting vitamin D. So yeah, it's I can't even overemphasize the importance for your immune system.
Okay, so you advocating that people take supplements, because I read when I was doing the research for this program that the climate change has a lot to do with it. If you stay in a place where, the environment is in a mess, it creates a barrier between the sun rays and you. Yeah. So if you live in all this cloudy, what do you call it? What do you call it? The scientists here.
I don't know.
Well, if the atmosphere is not clear, you have a lot of bad air. Okay. Let me go with that. Yeah. It blocks your ability to absorb the good vitamins,
Yeah.
vitamin D. So that's why, there's a need for the supplements.
The supplement, there is. Yeah.
Even if you live in Nigeria where it's blazing hot. So let me read out some of the reasons why people have these issues with obesity, and that is why they need to go out a bit more. Binge watching TV.
Yes.
The computer, hybrid work, driving, delivery. People don't go out to the market or go to buy anything. Delivery brings everything. Gaming. You're always on just a sedentary lifestyle. So in time this week, vitamin D, we can't get these things inside our bedrooms or inside our living rooms. We have to be out.
That's right.
Be out and about.
Yeah.
But some people don't feel the need to go to the gym or go outside. I mean, there are people living with disability who cannot go out or have access to exercise like people that are mobile do. What would they do?
Well, again, I think we have to take each on a case-by-case basis.
Yes,
but
yeah.
I think, one of the adages I always go by is where there is a will,
There's a way.
there's always a way. So, I'm sure you watch the Olympics where you see people that are swimming that have no arms, no legs. I'm not saying that's, for everyone, but, even if you're sitting down, there's certain exercises you can do sitting down.
Okay.
It's just about finding what works for you, exploring the options. I really do think, even just, evidence shows even just thinking about exercise. Thinking about exercise.
Why am I killing myself at the gym?
Just sitting down
and think
putting
about
straight into a mindset of you're doing exercise, thinking you're lifting hefty weights. The study showed that actually that was much beneficial than not doing anything at all.
You're onto a good thing.
But you might not get the release of hormones, the beneficial hormones, which are anti-stress hormones, which you get, we call it a runner's high at the end of a nice run or walk. So you might not get that.
Okay. So what you recommend, is it the 10,000 steps a day? Or
That's
any
a good
step
start.
at all?
That's
Any
a good
step at
start.
all?
Anything you can do consistently on a daily basis for 5 days a week makes massive changes to your health. Even if it's 5 minutes every single day. 5 minutes, I've given people a task to do 5 to 10 minutes every single day, and it's very, very hard just to do that consistently. But again, that shows good results if you can do that consistently.
Well, Cindy, there's so many things we'd love to have you stay here and talk to us about. But time is never our friend. So I want, as we come to the end of this, I still have your word to present to you from Sammy. So we're going to find a time to do that while we're here. But I just want you to talk to people. I have a message for people that are battling their weight at this time, the World Obesity Day, March 4th, or people who believe that this medication is the right way to go. Just some message for?
Some message is basically just to say that I would say these are very, very useful drugs to help, but they're not a magic pill. Ultimately, I think it goes back to an individual actually taking responsibility for the health. You've got to engage. We're all living longer, and we want to live a healthy longer. And the only way we can do that is start those building blocks the younger we are. It's never too late, but I would say, yes, if you need a kickstart, if you need something to help you on your weight loss journey, then yes, have a chat with a pharmacist or a healthcare professional, but they are not a magic pill, and you will still have to make sure you adjust and do some lifestyle changes to fit in with that in order to get the maximum benefits out of whatever program you go in for, really.
Wow. And you have a marathon coming up?
Yes, I am going to do the New York Marathon in November of this year. For the last time, I lasted it at the age of 50. I'm going to be 60, 10 years on. So yes, it's a big challenge.
You look good, Cindy. Very good.
Thank you very much.
No wrinkles, nothing. Do I see gray hair there? No, I do not. Thank you, Tunde. So happy that you made it here. I know you got in this morning. We dragged you here, happily not kicking and screaming. But before I let you go, I just want to give you the award on behalf of Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative. Last year, Tunde was so kind to run for us, and he raised over £3,000 for the charity. So, to my Easter pharmacy, which is Tunde, we want to say thank you. Yeah?
You're welcome. No, thank you. It was a worthwhile cause, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Because of your dedication, a lot of people, warriors, sickle cell warriors, have insurance covers because of what you did. And I also want to wish you a very successful reunion with your schoolmates at Abusi Grammar School, Ijebu Igbo. So, and to you out there, I hope you have learned as much as I have. Let us make the necessary changes to become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Move more and eat right. Remember that the literary bar is always open. Thank you for watching. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. You can watch us on DSTV channel 408 and on YouTube. Make your life a great, healthy story. My name is Chinedum. Thank you.